Hello. So I got asked by literally 1,000 people to make this video, and yeah, here it is. This is a video about my story, how I lost my hand, how I'm feeling currently, and how my hand looks. So I, like a month ago, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. The month was February, so it's the most fucked up month of the year. It has the irregular amount of days. It's a unique month. It was certainly unique for me. Yeah. So the injury, I mean amputation and injury, both happened on the 11th of February, 2021. So it's still kind of fresh. I'm gonna show how much is missing. This is not a graphic, because it's still in bandages. It's still in bandages. I would not show it if it was bloody or shit. So okay, let me just put it. Okay, so this is my arm, see, and this is how much I'm losing. See. Okay, this is to show I'm not bullshitting you. See thumb, see here. Maybe I even added a bit more. So like this, like this. Yeah, that much is how much I'm losing. So basically 4 fingers and over 50% of my palm missing, gone, amputated, forever gone. Yeah. So how did that happen? Well, I was just sitting on my couch one day, and a friend called me and asked me, "Hey Noah, can you give me a hand?" I was like, "Sure." Oh boy, I did not think he meant to literally take my hand. Just kidding. He was not responsible for me losing my hand. He was not responsible, it's not his fault. So yeah, I go there, and by the way, I've never done this type of work. I mean, work on a heavy machinery like that. Those were like some big machines. Like one machine was like 2 meters, wide, 2 meters tall. It was a huge machine. It was very loud. When I got into the room to introduce to the guy who owned the building and all the machines, I did not even hear his name because the machines were so loud. I literally couldn't hear his name. So we were working on this one machine, and we were kind of finished with this machine. So we went to the other machine. By the way, we were working something kind of, in the way of carpeting, woodwork. We were working on shutters for windows, so you close those so sunlight doesn't go in. And those small pieces. It's so funny when I show you this. And those small pieces that are in between the shutters. When you have the big stick that can control them if they go up or down to show light. Yeah. So this machine was made for smaller parts to remove layers of paint, and it basically all the residue, the paint and everything else that was the extra, it just went outside of the machine like a wood chipper. Like it basically spat out wood like a wood chipper, and it was wood dust. And we were done about 2 boxes. It was the last piece. My friend put the last piece in, and it got stuck. I'm gonna show you how much of it was sticking out. So this much was sticking out. This much. And no one told me shit. No one told me shit. And the machines, they should not be, operated like that. They should not have the so unsafe measures. They had no safety guards, nothing. Literally nothing was guarding it. The inspector for, work inspection, I talked to him. He told me that those machines were so outdated. They were like from the 1980s. Like that's literally 40 years old. Like so old. And yeah, basically, if the machines were up to safety standards, I wouldn't have lost my hand, and I wouldn't have become a cripple like I am now. But whatever, it happened. Yeah. So as I was saying, it was sticking like this. See, a small part. And since the machine is going this way, and I just thought I had to pull it a bit and the machine will just put it. But instead, the rotating thing inside caught my glove and pulled my whole hand inside, and it happened in less than a second, less than half a second before I reacted and pulled it out like as soon as I could. I look at my hand, and like my skin is just flappy. There's no bones left. Uh, Basically, I could see the bone of my thumb. My thumb was left, but all the skin on it was gone. But I could see the bone. I thought it was crushed. And I was like, I looked at my friend. He started panicking. I was just looking at him. And my first sentence was, why the fuck the left hand? Why the fuck the left hand? I'm left-handed, by the way. I lost my left hand. And yeah, so my friend told me, yo, go get some air, go get some air, go outside. So I go outside. They bring me a chair. I'm sitting. He comes back. He comes back to me. He comes with a plastic bag. He wraps it around my arm to, stop the blood flow. That was a smart idea, probably. And then he offered to give me a cigarette, but I was basically holding my hand because all the skin was like this. So I was afraid everything was gonna fall apart. So I was holding my hand with my other hand because I was afraid that everything is gonna fall apart and they're not gonna be able to save anything. And he was like, "Yo, here's a cigarette, here's a cigarette." I'm like, "Bro, fuck you. Why would I want a cigarette? I'm about to die. I don't want a fucking cigarette. Go away." And he started smoking a cigarette. He was fully stressed. Then they called 911, and there's this old guy talking on the phone. He's very confused. I'm not sure why he was talking. I could have talked to the medical services better than him, but whatever. He was talking, and he was talking. Yo, he cut himself a little, and I'm yelling here. Bro, I did not cut myself a little. I'm missing my whole hand. Like only half of my thumb is left. What the fuck are you saying? Don't say shit like that. Tell them to hurry. It's an emergency. I can die. And basically, they told him, to just wrap something around my arm. But they did it already. My friend did. And they told me to lay down. So they took me inside. I laid on some wood. And I basically, the old guy put my head on his lap and started pouring water over me for some reason. I'm not sure why he did that, and I was telling him, "Yo, stop pouring water on me. What are you doing?" And he was like, and I look up, and he's crying. He's crying. I'm not sure if he was pouring water on me or if he was actually crying. So, but yeah, uh, I think like 30 minutes later, the medics arrive. And the first I hear that see the look in their eyes, like they're like, and I overheard them say like, "What do we do?" And they just say, "Just roll it up, roll it up, roll it up." So they put a bunch of bandages on my hand, and then they put me on a stretcher and carried me to the vehicle, to the ambulance vehicle. There they gave me some fentanyl. By the way, I watched, fentanyl in movies and TV shows, and it was supposed to be great, but it did not help me at all. The pain didn't help me at all, nothing. So yeah, I also told them the joke that, you know what? Look on the bright side. At least I didn't lose my right hand. I mean, I wish I did lose my right hand because I was left-handed. But the thing is, I used to always jack off with my right hand, so that's a plus there. Imagine if I was left-handed and always jerked off with my left hand. That would have been such a shame. Okay. Okay, back to the story. I'm driving, and I arrived at the hospital. I'm lying here, and they're like yelling, amputation, 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 amputation. And I look around, everyone who's sitting in the hospital, like, those poor people, like, waiting for them to get self-checked. They're like looking at me, and I'm like, who gives a fuck? Eventually, I arrive at this room, and like 10 doctors show up around me. 10 doctors, and I overhear one of them whisper, Jesus fucking Christ. But they said it in my language, but it's a similar translation. Then doctors asked me how it happened. I told them how it happened, and then they just left the room. Later, nurses had to, give me something for pain because I was in pain the whole time. Like for 30 minutes straight, I did not get anything for pain because I lost so much blood, they could not find any veins in my body. And it got so painful that I told them, look, I saw it in movies. Either stab me in the neck and give it in a neck vein, or take my socks off and put it in my feet. They said, no way we're gonna do it in the neck. They kept trying, like, they at least tried 15, 20 times in my arm, but it didn't help because they couldn't find shit. Like, I looked at my arm the next day, it was like fully red, like, as if as a machine gun hit my hand. And yeah, after like 5 more tries, they said fuck it. They took both of my socks off, but my shoes off, and they finally found a vein. I told them, just check the foot. They should have listened to me 5 minutes earlier. I would have been in much less pain. And yeah, then they put that in my legs, so it helped with the pain like 10%. It still hurt like a bitch. Not gonna lie, it hurt like a bitch. And then I was still waiting for the doctor. Eventually, they escorted me to the operating room. I was still there waiting for the surgeons to come, and they put those things to me that measure my heartbeat. And I was like looking at my heartbeat, and I realized if I hold my breath, I can increase it or decrease it. So I would show the doctors by increasing and decreasing my blood heart rate. I mean, and they were like, and they were mad at me, but they didn't say anything. I was just trolling them, just because they can. Eventually, they put me to sleep, and yeah, I think it was morphine or something. I'm not sure, or sleeping gas, whatever. But they put me to sleep. They operated me on my hand, and next day I woke up in the hospital like I'm alone in my room. There's no one here. It's dark. I have no phone. I have nothing. I'm just looking around. I'm looking at my hand. But my hand didn't look like this. It looked more like this. I had a huge bandage over it, like 50 layers of bandages on my hand. And so I did not know what they did with my hand. I did not know. Then comes a nurse, and she puts like 2 sticks in my nose, for the corona test. By the way, that felt so disgusting. That felt so disgusting. Then the doctor came next after that. He told me that they amputated all of my hand except for my thumb, which can potentially still be saved. And I was like, fuck it. What you gonna do? After like 30 more minutes or 1 hour, I'm not sure how long I was in my room alone, they told me they're escorting me to another room because I do not have corona. So yeah, they escorted me to this room. And there were 2 people there. There were 2 people there. There was one guy, and there was another guy. The first guy left after like 4 hours, and the other guy left like 10 o'clock or something the same day. Like they both left me the same day. I asked the first guy to, lend me his phone so I can make a phone call because I forgot my phone at home that night. So I didn't have a phone. I didn't even tell my parents. My parents did not know what happened until I called them that day. So I tried calling my dad, but he's not picking up. So I tried calling my mom. She picks up. I tell her what's happened, and she starts crying, She starts crying, and I get emotional too. I get uncomfortable, and I just say, I'm gonna hang up now. And she says, okay. And I hung up. Okay. Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure how long I was in hospital, if it was 4 or 5 days, but the thing is, they only redid my bandages once in those 4 days, or 5 days, I'm not sure, once. Every morning or every day, my bed was full of blood because my bandages were leaking, and I asked the nurses and the doctors to redo my bandages every single day. They just told me later, 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 later. They never did it. And yeah, they never did it. So here comes the day of, they just tell me, you know what, we're leaving you to go. Our population, the hospital, you have to go. We did the best we can. It's better if you stay with your family. Come to the next room. You're gonna redo your bandages. They asked me if I'm gonna sit or stand. I'm like, you know what? I can sit. I can sit. Not too bad. And they start unwrapping that shit. But the thing is, they didn't unwrap it any other day. This was the first time in like 4 or 5 days that they actually redid my bandages, and my skin kinda merged with the bandages, so it hurt like a bitch. Uh, I was screaming. I had to lay down. They had to give me some infusion to put me to sleep or something. I don't know, or to give me pain. I forgot. Anyways, yeah, it hurt like a motherfucker because it merged with my skin. Okay, I'm gonna turn back a bit. So the first day I was there, I had this really hot nurse, and there were actually two nurses. One of my roommates told me that one nurse has a boyfriend. Okay, so I did not want to ask her if she has a boyfriend. So I'm like, yo, does your friend have a boyfriend? Like the other hurt nurse, the blonde, and she asked her, yo, this guy asks you if you have a boyfriend, and she comes to me, I have two, and I'm like, that's nice. I have three girlfriends. We both cheat. Why not cheat together? And since that day, I did not see her. Instead, I got a Karen nurse. She was fat, she had a Karen haircut, she was mean, she was angry, she was yelling at the patients. I think she was even beating the patients, but I cannot prove that. No proof of that. But I have her in my nightmares sometimes. But yeah, fuck Karen. I fucking hate her. Uh, Yeah, I'm sure there's more stories. Oh yeah, another story. So the day after, I mean, the day they were releasing me, after I got to my room, I woke up and I got woken up by my. Oh, by the way, I have two new roommates now. My former roommates left, so I have two new roommates now. My first roommate is a guy who was in a car crash. He was sitting in the back seat and they flipped over. He was the only one injured. His friends in the front got uninjured. He was not tied, he didn't wear a seat belt. So he fell out the window and he broke a couple of ribs and I think he punctured his lung or something. He could not, I think actually he broke his legs also. He could not talk. I mean, he could talk, but he was very quiet, like, help me. He was talking like that the whole time. And I had this other roommate. He was like 280 pounds in America or 150 kilos in Europe, in metric system. And yeah, he fell on the ground and he was screaming in agony, like, "Ugh!" Like I think he had 10 ribs broken or something. His kidney was failing or something. It was horrible, and he was like yelling in pain. I was screaming for help, like help, help, help. Even the guy who couldn't yell, he was screaming at the top of his lungs, which was not that actually loud, but he was screaming like help, help, something like that. Yeah, no one came. No one came for 15 minutes because I think the doctors or nurses were watching the television in the next room. So yeah, I think that's about it. I can tell you about my injury, my hospital story, everything. Yeah, if you want to check me out, if you found this story entertaining or want to support me, I started streaming on Twitch. I'm trying to earn money there to buy a prosthetic hand. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the link in the description if you wanna follow me, watch me, whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I should probably censor it. No, I'm not gonna censor it. Fuck it. I'm not gonna get any money for this video, so who gives a fuck? Yeah, link in the description for my Twitch. Uh, if you want to see pictures of how my hand looks in my Twitch, you can actually find my Discord. And on my Discord, you can find a Reddit tab, and you can find on my Reddit tab, you can find all the pictures of my hand, how it progresses healing, but the pictures are very disturbing. I assure you, they're very fucking disturbing, gory, not safe for work. So if you're weak of heart, do not go watch them. Yeah. If you came this far, thank you for watching. Yeah, hope to see you on my stream. And yeah, that's it. Bye.